Am I the a-hole for not telling my roommate I own the house? Brief backstory. About a year ago, my last remaining grandparent passed away and my father inherited all assets, including a house. I had been saving for a nice down payment, at least 50%, so I could have a lower mortgage payment each month, thus allowing me to save money for travel. When my father inherited this house, which he had no interest in moving into yet, he offered to sell it to me for slightly below market rate, with the caveat that he and my stepmother could eventually move into the basement apartment. I agreed because they're both incredible people who are not at all invasive, and would give me my privacy if they lived there. So I paid a 60% down payment, financed the rest, and moved in. Present day, about 6 months ago, I started considering renting out the finished basement apartment. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room, and a small kitchenette, sink, fridge, microwave, but no oven. A friend of mine said his brother was moving to my city and needed a place. He's a brand new teacher and doesn't make great money, so he needed a place that wasn't expensive. I offered to let him rent my basement for way less than market rate, $650, which would include utilities. He readily accepted and signed a year-long lease. Well, a few days ago he asked if he could start paying the landlord directly instead of giving me rent money each month. I was under the impression my friend had told him I owned the house, so I was confused and I told him we don't have a landlord and that I'm the owner. He got very upset and screamed at me for lying for over 6 months and taking advantage of him by making him pay so much in rent. For the record, an apartment similar to the one in my house would be well over twice what he's paying me, closer to 3 times for something as nice. He asked how much of my mortgage he's covering and I said, "Why does that matter? You're getting a nice, quiet place to live, access to a full kitchen and laundry room, and you're paying an amount that you can afford. My personal finances aren't really a factor here." He stormed out of the room and slammed the basement door. He's still not speaking to me. I asked a few other friends and some family members, and most said I'm wrong for having him cover my mortgage payments. Only a few say I'm in the right. So, am I the a-hole for having my roommate cover $650 of my $775 per month mortgage? Edit, he has a lease so I won't be evicting him over this alone. If he does any damage or becomes hostile, I'll look at the eviction process. But for now, he will remain unless he chooses to break the lease, which I'd allow him to do if he wants. He also didn't bother to read the lease before signing. The lease clearly states I'm the homeowner. I didn't trick him or keep info from him. He simply didn't read what he was signing. I didn't get the house for almost free as some people choose to believe. My father sold it to me for about 75% of its value, more or less as an advance on rent he and my stepmother will pay when they move in here in a few years. We already agreed they won't pay monthly rent but will contribute to utilities and groceries at that time. I also made a 60% down payment so I have quite a bit invested, as well as paying about $1,500 per month out of pocket for taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, etc. Here is what some people had to say.
Oh my god, are they freaking serious? What do they think people do when they rent? They cover the landlord's mortgage payment. You are definitely not the a-hole and quite honestly, do not renew the lease with this person. How entitled can one person be? I rented an Airbnb for a few months when I was new to the area. More precisely, I rented a bedroom. Yes, I had access to the kitchen, shared bathroom with whoever else were guests, shared laundry room, and pool, but still, bedroom, for more than you're charging for a finished basement apartment. It sounds like your renter is going to get sticker shock when he moves out. Tell everyone who thinks you're ripping the guy off to check the market rate for the area, then go kick rocks. Were you supposed to let him stay for free? Again, not the a-hole, but I think I'd start looking for smarter friends.
The rest of the comment pretty much said the same thing, judging the poster as not the a-hole. A month later, the original poster gave an update. I intended to speak to him over the weekend, but he never returned my text asking when a good time to discuss things would be. So Sunday afternoon I sent a text stating I would be entering the basement at 6 p.m. Monday evening. He never replied. When I went into the basement, some of his belongings were there but some weren't. Bed was there, but no dresser or side tables, and the second bedroom he was using as an office has nothing but boxes. The kitchenette was disgusting, the carpets were filthy, and the walls had dents and divots in them and the paint. I left him a note stating he needs to do some repairs and clean the kitchenette, so as not to attract vermin. Then I went back upstairs. When he came back in today, early this morning, and was fuming at me for entering the basement without permission. I told him I had given him more than 24 hours notice, per the lease, via text message before entering his area. His reply was that he didn't get that because he blocked my number. So somehow it's still my fault for not informing him. I would be down there. I asked him if he intends to stay out the lease or if he wants to break it. He said he's leaving and will live in his car until he finds a new place. I told him that's fine and that if he has all his belongings out by the end of the month, I won't make him pay September and half of October's rent, as the lease requires. And I'll refund the days he isn't here. He tried to tell me he doesn't need to pay that rent because he has 45 days to vacate. But that's only the notice period, if he intends to leave. The lease still requires rent for those 45 days. So he's mad about that. I told him I'm being kind by letting him out early with zero financial repercussions. He was also told he's required to leave the apartment as clean as it was when he moved in, which was spotless since I had it professionally cleaned prior to his lease beginning, or he would not get his deposit back. He's throwing a tantrum about that too. He seems to be working on clearing the rest of his stuff out now. I told him when he's done, send me notice in writing, text or email, and I'll send him a refund for the days in August he isn't occupying the apartment. I have indoor ring cameras that I turned off when he moved in, but I've turned them back on until he's gone. I don't trust that he won't do more damage. Right now I've locked myself in my office on the second story, since he's really mad and was throwing things around in the basement and main kitchen. His brother and sister-in-law are also coming over in the next hour or so because I don't feel entirely safe being alone in the house with him. As soon as he gives me notice that he's completely vacated the apartment, I'll be deleting all the passwords, codes for all the deadbolts, alarm system, internet, etc., so he can't access anything at all. I'm ready to be done with him and to feel safe in my own home again. Thanks to all who read the original post on Am I the A-hole? I'll post any additional updates here on my profile, though I hope this is the end of it. And this is it for today's story. See you soon.